Okay, so previous week we have learned how we can do the, or maybe just I can scan through the slides. Okay, so just I will scan through these things we have already covered previous week. So the first thing is whenever you are writing whenever you need to solve any symbolic, you need to write down SYMS X. So SYMS you need to write down, and then you need to write down whatever are the symbols, and then the equation. And when you will check in the workspace, you will see the boxes like X and Y boxes. So that will say that the symbols. Same way, if we want to declare any equation in MATLAB, first of all, you declare all the symbols, suppose like this one, SYMS QR TK0, and then you can write down the equation. So these things we have done. Okay, this one also. The another part was expand. So we have learned that suppose you can see here the equation is written W is equal to symbolic this one, and then you can write down expand W, it will expand. There are a lot of terms, a lot of things in the MATLAB book also. So everyone, because in the class we can cover the main points, we cannot cover each and every detail. So whenever you are free, then you can start checking, or maybe you can do the trials on the this one MATLAB, whatever examples are there. So suppose here equation is W is equal to symbolic, single quote, you write down the equation, and then you write down expand W. So MATLAB will expand. Okay, then we have learned the simplifying one. This is called poly to sim. You can give the numbers like this. All these things you can try in the command window directly. These are only one line. You can try, you will get the answers, and it is not difficult one answer. So you can write down, suppose A equals to 132, and then you use poly to sim. When you write down poly to sim, then it will convert this number into simple polynomial equation. Suppose we get simple polynomial is ax square plus bx plus c. So ABC, so A1 will be used in place of A, and in place of B3 and 2. So you can give the numbers, and then you ask MATLAB to make a polynomial equation, then MATLAB will convert into directly polynomial equation. So it is called a poly to sim function. Okay. Second one, we can do the opposite. So we can give the polynomial equation, and we can ask MATLAB to extract the numbers. So like in this one example, you can see that you have given the polynomial equation 5x square plus 3x minus 2, and then you ask them to extract the numbers. So it will extract 5, 3, minus 2. So sim to poly. Earlier was poly to sim. This one is sim to poly. Okay, in your suppose quiz or test, suppose we will give you the equations, or we will give you some problem. There's some mathematical equations. Then we can ask you to solve the above problem using symbolic, or we will give you some equation, and then you need to write down the program that how you are going to solve. Another thing you need to remember, suppose the same program can be solved in a standard way also. That whatever we write down, we can solve a standard way. But when we say solve our problem using symbolic, so you need to use symbolic, because we want to check whether you know symbolic and you know how to do it. All right. So try whenever you read the question, you see that okay, whether in the question it is written that solve this problem using the symbolic. Okay, so I think these things you have already tried. I think anybody have any problem in this one, poly to sim or sim to poly, or we can move. I think there should be hopefully no problem. Now we will learn another very important function which is called solve. So all these terms are like these are the function like sim to poly, poly to sim, expand, simplify, simple. So these things we are going to use in the symbolic. So solve is actually a very important one. It is like suppose if you give any mathematical equation and you want to solve, so you can tell MATLAB, okay, solve this equation. Then MATLAB will solve. So suppose any equation, you can write a symbolic, this is the equation, solve. Solve for what? And then it can solve, okay. So it can solve the square root or it can solve the whole lot of things. So you will see a few examples of it. So maybe the first one you can try, you can write down sim x and then e1 is equal to x minus 3. Then you ask MATLAB, solve e1. So MATLAB will move minus 3 on the other side and answer is 3. Okay. And you can also write down like the same way. It is actually the same answer that here you can have written that e1 is equal to sim single quote x minus 3, and then you say solve e1. Rather than 3 steps, we can write down just in a single step. So either way, both are correct. You can write down sim x, e1 is equal to this one or solve e1. Or you can write down e1 is equal to sim single quote x minus 3 and solve e1. You have written the equation ax square plus bx plus c. Solve for a. Okay. So you need to give the equation and then you need to tell MATLAB what you want to calculate. You want to calculate a, then you need to write down suppose ax square plus bx plus c, single quote comma a. Then MATLAB will solve it for a. So later on we will see some more example that you can give any equation like we have seen in the beginning that k is equal to k0 and then something r upon t, and we want to calculate t. So you need to go step by step because we have the rules or follow the mathematical principles that step by step you will bring t on one side and rest of the things other side. So same way you can see here that it is written ax square plus bx plus c, and then you tell MATLAB that you want to solve it for a. So it will rearrange the equation so that you can get the answer. So basically solve, you give the MATLAB equation, then you say what you want, solve for what. Then it will rearrange the equation. Then there is a one more step, you replace all the symbols with the numbers and then you can get the answer. Okay. So minus c plus bx upon x square you will get to calculate the a. All right, so I think here until here done. Hopefully everyone have done. Now, suppose like in our previous examples also we have seen if we declare at any place a is equal to this number, b is equal to this one, and then we calculate, MATLAB still remember. So until you have written CLC and clear, whatever things you declare earlier, MATLAB will remember. Once you write down suppose clear and your workspace memory is gone, then you cannot see the same function. So you need to remember that if you declare something, then MATLAB remembers, okay, these words or these variables you have declared. All right, so now you can see another example that this one E3 is equal to P is equal to P0, EXPR upon T. And then we have asked MATLAB to solve equation E3, comma, T. Then it will rearrange. The main thing you all need to remember the steps. If there is any mathematical equation, first you need to write down symbolic, or you can use E3 sim directly, either way. Either you declare all the symbols or you can write down the equation. E3 is equal to sim and whatever is the equation. Then the next step, solve equation E3, comma for T, and then it will rearrange the equation. So I think a lot of the problems you will see in the test and quiz is like you will get mathematical equation, you need to rearrange and substitute. So for that, you need to write down solve equation, this one for particular thing, and then later on we will learn how you need to substitute the values. Okay. All right. So just check how you need to write down the equation. All right. So as we have discussed earlier also, a lot of BKC student are taking the numerical method. Okay, normally in numerical method, you got the three simultaneous equation like 3x plus 2y minus z, some numbers, and then we need to use one of the technique to find out how much is the value of x, y, and z. Like Gauss-Seidel is there, and then the elimination is method is there, that one. Okay, so uh, how much time normally for each problem when you have to find out x, y, z? So I think it takes more than 20-25 minutes to find out how much is the, you need to do the iteration and then you need to calculate the guess value. Okay, so the same problem which takes a lot of time in numerical method, you can see here that you can write down three equation 1, 2, 3, and then you just write down answer equal to solve 1, 2, 3, and you can get the answer. So write down all three equation, then you say answer dot x, answer dot y, answer dot z. So it will tell how much is the value x, y, and z. Okay, so you can try this one. Even in your numerical method, suppose some of you have taken and will take in the future, you can check. I also used to do it. That suppose when you use different method to find the answer, the same answer you can check using the MATLAB. So you can write down the equation and then you just write down. Okay, everyone try this example. It will be useful for your numerical method also. Okay, you can see this slide. Simple thing. Suppose you got the equation 1, 2, 3. Then you write down a square bracket x, comma y, comma z equals to solve 1, 2, 3. Then MATLAB will straight away tell how much is x, how much is y, how much is z. All right. So simultaneous equation, you write down simultaneous equation, and then you just tell that, okay, you want to know x, y, z, MATLAB will in one shot. The first part is three equation, then one shot x, y, z equals to solve 1, 2, 3. Then it will give you how much is x, y, and z. Okay. So half of the course. Okay, so this one is the book which you are learning, correct? Steven Chapra. This one is the old version, but you may have the new version. Okay, now for this same book, actually they have developed, this one is, you can see the title, Applied Numerical Methods with MATLAB. This one is also there, Steven Chapra. The same manual calculation that you are learning manually, they have done or they are teaching that how you do it in MATLAB. So actually MATLAB is one of the best software for the numerical methods. So they have already given applied numerical methods with MATLAB for engineers and scientists. So it is quite a useful one. Maybe I think in near future we need to combine both the things, because now you are learning computer programming, you are already learning MATLAB, you are learning numerical method, and you are learning numerical method using the Steven Chapra. So they have the solution. So when you do the mathematical modeling, you need to have knowledge of some software to solve it. So here you can see the application of solve, that you can give any mathematical equation and then you ask MATLAB to solve for the x, y, z or whatever you want to solve. Okay. Now there are a few more application of the solve one, that how we can use it. So this equation we have seen earlier, k is equal to k0 into exponential minus q upon rt. And then you can ask MATLAB for solve for Q. So it is like you can give any mathematical equation, and then you can say that, okay, you want to solve for Q or whatever things, Q, RT, whatever you want to calculate, you can say solve for Q or solve for T or solve for the things. Okay, so this one was your, suppose you got one equation K is equal to K0 exp minus Q upon RT. Then you want to solve for Q. So these are the steps. Suppose if you are doing manually, then you need to take step by step to make Q on one side, rest of the thing other side. The same thing which you need to do it for the in the MATLAB. You can say you can use this example. X is equal to sim. You need to write down the equation that solve X for Q, and it will solve it. Okay, so try this example. So overall, I think it's not that difficult. You just need to know 3 steps. First is you need to declare the equation X is equal to sim, single quote, write down the equation. Then you write down solve X for Q. Then it will do it. There is one more step, substitute. Then you substitute the numbers and you will get the answer. Another part it will happen when you will get suppose same questions in the quiz or test. Then people forget where to put the comma and where to put the single quote. And then you will not get the answer. So the main, because it is a coding, if you don't write even one comma, you will never get the answer. So suppose X, same, single quote, everything, whatever equation in a single quote. Then solve X for Q. So X, comma, single quote, Q. If you don't write comma or single quote, you will not get the answer. So I think the main thing is the coding part. You need to remember that how you need to do it. Okay, now another part is a substitution. Once we have a symbolic, now suppose you got the equation, then you have written that rearrange the equation, and then is a you need to tell how much is A, how much is B, how much is C. Then only MATLAB will tell the answer. Okay. So substitution means simple thing when you substitute the symbols with the numbers. Okay, so you can try this example. E4 is equal to symbolic, then substitute in E4 X for Y. The way you need to write down that you remember. I think rest of the thing is okay. First of all, you give the equation ax square plus bx plus c. Then you write down substitute bracket E4 comma x comma y. So you want to replace x with y. So you can see from there, rather than ax square plus bx plus c, it is now ay square plus by plus c. Now same way, you can try to substitute x with numbers. You can substitute x with y, or you can also substitute x with numbers. So we have written substitute E4 x single quote 3. Okay. So the main thing, substitute, you need to first thing is from where? Equation. So E4 comma the value x by 3. So then you will get 9a plus 3b. So it will replace x with 3 and you can get the answer. Okay, so another example is suppose in the previous one, we were substituting one by one. But also you can substitute all the number also. Suppose you have written this example, you can see that first you declare symbolic a, b, c, x, then substitute E4 in your previous equation. What is the number? Okay, E4, substitute E4 for x plus 3 is okay. The continue this one. Okay, now the last part you can see that rather than substituting A, B, C, you can substitute all together also. Substitute equation E4, then the bracket what symbols you want to substitute. So from the series, you can write down A, B, C, X. And then in the second bracket, then you put 1, 2, 3, 4. That A for 1, B for 2, C for 3, and X for 4. And then it will substitute all the symbols and give you the answer. Okay. So this one is in a one shot. You can replace all this one alphabets with the numbers. So the way the bracket is different. This bracket, I don't know what is the name. Anybody knows what you call this bracket? Is a different shape. Is a you can see more carefully than you can see. It is a like a bow. Anybody name what you call this bracket? Okay, so semi substitute is a semicircle, then this one is another bracket that need to be there. If you write down here semicircle bracket, it will not give you the answer. Okay, so maybe check and then can do. Okay, you all have already learned the plotting. Plotting we have seen earlier, that how you can do the simple X and Y and all the things. But now we will see how you can do the plotting into the MATLAB in this one, symbolic. So the symbolic one is, suppose in the previous plotting that we have learned, we have written X is equal to this number, Y is equal to this one, and plot X comma Y. Then you can have a single line, double line, or whatever things you can do. In the symbolic plotting, we don't declare the numbers. Only on the basis of symbols, MATLAB can plot. So you can just say EZPlot A comma B or something. MATLAB will plot on the basis of symbols. So we'll see how MATLAB can plot on the basis of symbol. There's a term called here EZPlot, EZPlot. So this one is used in place of plotting. So when we are doing the plotting, we write down the standard plot PLOT. But when you need to do the plotting in the symbolic, you need to write down EZPlot. Okay, so you try one example. The rest of the thing is same. This one. Suppose the word you need to use is EZPlot. We cannot write down PLOT. Plot is for normal plotting, but EZPlot is for the plotting with the symbols. So like if you want to plot something, you said EZPlot S. And if you want to give the range from where to where, X maximum to X minimum, then you need to write down. So you'll see one example. Okay, you can write down S is equal to symbolic SYM, single quote, X square minus 2. Then you write down EZPlot S. Then you will get the plot. Okay, you try this example.